You're watching First Alert 7 News at 9 on the CW and live on YouTube with Lauren Munt and weather with Tom Tiefertiller.
It's really something that's constant learning, right? Like what we did maybe 50 years ago, even in like technology space, right? We didn't have an iPhone and now we do. And it's the same thing with oil and gas technology.
We all know that West Texas is oil country, but with the high density of oil well production in the Permian Basin, the need for decommissioning is also great. But what is decommissioning and how does it benefit us? We've got that story in just a few minutes. Thanks for joining us for First Alert 7 News on the CW, and thanks to those of you joining us live on our YouTube. I'm Lauren Munt, and our top story tonight comes out of Andrews, where police say they arrested a juvenile this morning for making a school threat. Police say the threat was passed around last night, and they worked overnight to investigate. They arrested the juvenile this morning before school started. Police say the suspect is facing criminal charges to the fullest extent of the law.
Ultimately, the best information comes from the community. The people that we needed to talk to, getting them spoken with last night, throughout the night. Our guys worked on it all night, and we were able to, account for how that message got created.
Davis said that parents need to monitor their children's phones and lives even more after the recent tragic events that have been transpired across the nation. And even though many of the threats, like the one in Andrews, turned out to be false, there's still a certain level of trauma that comes with experiencing them. And with the increase of threats being posted on social media, gun violence across the nation, and even just students practicing school shooting drills, anxiety can settle in as a continual reminder of the risks and safety concerns that schools face today.
Trauma is really when our ability to cope is overwhelmed. In that heightened state, it's easy to look around and, imagine something looks like a gun because maybe it's black and the right size or whatever it may be.
Now, this is a completely normal reaction to a crisis, and parents can help students through that trauma by watching for behavioral or mood changes and checking in with their kids regularly.
The hardest thing to read is a teenager's brain, right? We don't know what's going on in there. But ask those hard questions of them. What's going on? Why did you have a bad day?
I'm glad to see you today, or hey, do you need help with anything? So, each one of us can make a difference.
Resources for students can be found linked to this story that's up on our website, firstalert7.com. And earlier today, the Society of Petroleum Engineers Permian Basin held a presentation on decommissioning and repurposing oil and gas wells when an oil and gas company buys or inherits legacy wells. The decommissioning process begins, and it's like retirement, but for a well. Most of these wells in the Permian Basin were built in the 1930s, and historically it's set up to drill, complete, and produce. However, its life is put in limbo if the oil producer goes bankrupt or if they're bought, which decreases the chances of the well being decommissioned safely and effectively.
When we design oil and gas well bores, we need to design with decommissioning in mind. There's several key principles and fundamental actions we can design in that make decommissioning far safer, more cost effective.
Modern technology has helped to change and better the decommissioning process, but there are still things to be learned about this. And the Society of Petroleum Engineers Permian Basin are also offering financial support to students that are interested in pursuing a career in oil and gas. And across the state, a massive pipeline fire prompted evacuations and street closures in a suburb of Houston today. This all happened after a car was driven through a fence and hit an above-ground valve. That driver has not yet been identified. The pipeline is owned by Energy Transfer. And in a statement, the company said there was an incident at one of its valve stations involving a 20-inch natural gas line that resulted in the fire. And as firefighters worked for several hours to contain it, Deer Park Mayor Jerry Mountain said liquid natural gas was burning, and it would be a while before it went down.
The pipeline source is being shut off, and there is a time frame that's going to be extended to hours, I will just say, on how long it's going to take for that product to be burnt off.
Energy Transfer said the line had been isolated so residual product in the line could safely burn itself out, and one firefighter was treated for minor injuries. And just about an hour ago, many West Texans were shaken up by an earthquake. According to the USGS, a 5.1 magnitude earthquake was reported near Ackerley. Now, this was not the only earthquake that was felt in West Texas today. A 2.9 magnitude quake was reported in Toyah just 2 hours before the one in Ackerley. I'm joined now with Chief Meteorologist Tom Teeferteller to talk a little bit more about it. Tom?
Yeah, let's take a look at a map and show you exactly where it was, where the earthquake struck there in Martin County between Patricia and Tarzan there, just off of State Highway 349. Magnitude 5.1 with a depth of 5 miles, but it was felt from Big Spring, Stanton, Midland, in the Odessa area and all the way as far north as Lubbock. We're getting some reports on that. And we had one Facebook friend say that it did shake the hospital in Midland and kind of was swaying just a little bit. So again, rather powerful earthquake at a 5.1 struck just right before 8 o'clock this evening. Now we're looking at quiet weather, nothing going on out there in the way of weather. Even the clouds have moved off as we're seeing temperatures into the lower 80s across many areas, but all the way to a nice mild 76 in Alpine. And humidity levels, they are coming back up quite a bit. So we're going to have some humidity to deal with overnight tonight. Keep temperatures up a little bit, only dropping down into the upper 60s to near 70 it looks like. And that moisture could come into play tomorrow with a couple of isolated showers and thunderstorms, especially west of the Pecos River. Talk more about that and some better rain chances here in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Tom. If you have a cell phone, then you've probably heard of the term 5G. It's a faster and more reliable mobile network that many of us already use. But as First Alert 7 meteorologist Sawyer McElroy explains, a Midland-based company is making strides in space to expand 5G access.
September 12 marked an important milestone for AST SpaceMobile, a satellite manufacturer based right here in the Permian Basin.
And we have liftoff of the Bluebird 1 through 5 mission and the dawn of a new era for mobile connectivity.
This was the moment that marked the culmination of years of work for AST SpaceMobile, headquartered at the Midland Spaceport.
So it was a big moment for the team. We're 7 years old as a company and based in Texas, as you know. And so this was a really big week, and we've successfully launched, and now we're communicating with the satellites in orbit.
The project began with a prototype satellite launch back in 2022.
These satellites are similar to the one that we have in orbit today that's been tested over the last 2 years, but they are able to be scaled and have many more users.
With the ultimate goal of providing the very first space-based cellular broadband network.
When you look at connectivity today, we all know how important it is. And when that phone doesn't work in your pocket, it becomes very heavy. So in the US, we see that from time to time, and our service will be helpful in getting you to be more connected when you live, work, and travel. And then around the world, we're aiming to help bridge the digital divide.
Since the company opened 7 years ago, AST has expanded its operations with 2 factories in the Tall City, marking significant investments at the spaceport. We've really enjoyed being based there. We love the workforce, we love the local and state government, and it's been a very supportive environment for us to build our company. And while West Texas is synonymous with oil and gas, projects like these are launching Midland to the forefront of space technology. Space-oriented organizations such as the Blakemore Planetarium in Midland are hoping this sparks kids' imaginations all over West Texas.
And the fact that that is being focused here in the Permian Basin and that it's being built here kind of shows how awesome this area is. The infrastructure is starting to be developed to really push aerospace industry and projects here in the area. A booming space industry has a wealth of benefits for West Texas. One of the things that I think is going to be important for this area is focusing on aerospace is going to diversify the Permian Basin, not just to oil and natural gas, but to have aerospace in here and to have these different projects being done at the spaceport and the companies around is going to help provide jobs, help provide opportunities, and just make this area even more important than it already is. The next satellite launch will occur within the first quarter of the new year. The goal is to have 45 to 60 satellites for full 24/7 coverage across the United States and a total of over 90 for worldwide coverage. As Neil Armstrong once said, that's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, or the Permian Basin in this case. For First Alert 7 News, I'm meteorologist Sawyer McElroy.
Thank you, Sawyer. We've got a traffic alert for you now. Starting today, there will be multiple lane closures along West 10th Street at the intersection of County Road West, I should say, in Odessa. Here's a map of those closures. According to the city, Driver Pipeline will be working on a gas main line, and the closures could be in place for up to a week. Eastbound traffic will be shifted to the far right-hand lane with a three-way option available. People can expect more traffic than usual while traveling through the area. And September 15th through 21st is National Surgical Technologist Week. And for those of you who don't know what a surgical technologist is, they're an essential part of a surgical team, but they don't interact directly with patients before or after surgery. In the hospital, surgical technologists don't interact with patients unless they're already medicated. Because of this, many patients don't often remember them or know how to thank them for their part in their care.
A lot of the times the patients are medicated prior to entering the operating room. So even though we tell the patients, hello, good morning, how are you? Or, I'm so-and-so, they don't remember most of the time. Many times, they often go unnoticed or unseen, or, they just don't remember who they were.
For the 7th straight year, the city of Midland has signed a proclamation naming the third week in September as Surgical Technologist Week. And this year, the city of Odessa signed the same proclamation, along with Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Coming up, we've got the latest on the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. That's coming up next here on First Alert 7 News at 9. And the fourth First Alert 7 Peanut Butter Drive for the West Texas Food Bank is next Thursday. You can drop off peanut butter to the First Alert Studios in Music City Mall or at either of the West Texas Food Bank locations in Midland or Odessa. A would-be assassin in a federal courtroom. Ryan Routh now faces multiple gun charges after the FBI says that he was waiting to attempt to assassinate Donald Trump on a golf course Sunday. Our Washington News Bureau correspondent Brendan Collerton has the latest on the fallout from the nation's capital.
Secret Service briefed former President Donald Trump on their latest intelligence as Congress looks for answers as to how a second potential assassin was able to get so close to Trump with a semi-automatic rifle. Shots fired on a Florida golf course. Sunday, Secret Service agents noticed a gun barrel sticking out through the bushes and shot at Ryan Routh. President Joe Biden says Donald Trump's security is not sufficient.
The service needs more help, and I think the Congress should respond to their needs if they in fact need more services.
The 58-year-old Routh is now charged with possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Routh was once charged with possessing a weapon of mass destruction in North Carolina back in 2002. He was arrested Sunday by the Martin County Sheriff's Office.
I was able to get to the scene shortly after the stop, and I saw him in the car. His facial affect was very bland. He was not emoting any emotions at all. He made no statements.
Following the previous assassination attempt on Trump's life July 13th, the former president was provided increased Secret Service protection. Secret Service says Routh did not fire any shots and was not able to achieve a line of sight on Trump.
Yesterday, what we show is that our agents and our protective methodologies, and there's a lot of tactical assets in place, things that have been put in place as a result of what happened 60 days ago, those elements are working, and that demonstrates the redundancies that we have.
Secret Service says they have had productive conversations with Congress about securing more resources. The congressional committee established to investigate the previous assassination attempt is requesting a security briefing. In Washington, I'm Brendan Cullerton.
Well, back home in West Texas, we are looking at a very quiet evening out there, but some rain showers may come back to the forecast. We're going to talk about that up next.
Now, from the First Alert 7 Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, let's go straight to the weather makers and show you the upper level pattern that's shaping our weather here at ground level. We're seeing a big ridge of high pressure that made for a relatively nice weekend. Well, that's starting to be on the move a little bit, moving off to the east. And as that happens, it's being replaced by this big upper level low back here across the western U.S. Now that is going to rumble off to the east and northeast. And as that happens, we are going to be looking for, again, some changes coming up. It's going to set up a little trough of low pressure back across West Texas. First off, and that will increase isolated shower, thunder shower chances through the middle part of the week. And then this whole system, as it moves out, looks to swing a cool front through the area. That's going to bring some changes to our forecast later on, just in time for the start of fall with some weekend showers and some milder temperatures. Right now across the state, though, you see the effects of the high pressure. We've got a little Gulf moisture moving in, and that kicked off some showers, thunder showers across interior South Texas. Also a little Pacific moisture creeping in across portions of New Mexico, kicking off a few showers. We're stuck in between, so not much happening here in West Texas. Temperatures today up to 89 degrees, but we did see plenty of 90s across the areas a little bit earlier today. So again, we are going to see that is going to continue in our forecast. Through tomorrow, looks like we'll see temperatures climb just a little bit each afternoon. Now, the Futurecast is showing that, again, not a lot happening until the late afternoon hours. See some isolated showers, thunder showers pop up in the mountain areas, and then some of that is going to try to move off to the east. This model goes back and forth. It's a little aggressive with some stuff, and then it pulls it back. But it does look like isolated stuff west of the Pecos River coming up tomorrow afternoon and into the evening hours. Then we'll get another dose of low clouds. That's Gulf moisture moving in and high humidity levels. So it looks like about a 10% chance of some isolated showers, thunder showers into Wednesday is what we're looking at the present time. For tonight, though, temperatures right around 70. A little bit of humidity to deal with on the south to southeast winds. And then tomorrow, an isolated shower, thunder shower, primarily west of the Pecos River and the portions of southeast New Mexico, and a little bit of breeze too, keeping those humidity levels up. And your First Alert 7 10-day forecast showing 10% chance of an isolated shower, thunder shower Wednesday, picking up a little bit more late in the week as that front gets a little bit closer. And again, some slightly milder temperatures, a few isolated showers, thunder showers, just in time for the weekend.
Up next here at 9, we're recapping Week 3 of high school football, starting with the Panthers and the Broncos. Your local sports are next. The Permian Panthers are a perfect 3-0 following their win at home against the number 7 state-ranked Abilene Eagles last week. And this is all in non-district games, but the Panthers are the only team in their district that is still undefeated. Head coach Jeff Ellison is happy with his offense's production, highlighting the performance of running back Gavin Black, who scored 4 touchdowns in the win.
Gabby's right now is having a great season. It's a season I was hoping for him to have a breakout season, and he's doing a great job right now. I'm very proud of our team, very proud of our kids and our coaches. A lot of hard work this summer in this off season to get us where we're at right now. We've got a long way to go, though.
The Panthers stay at home in Ratliff Stadium this Friday when they host Amarillo Tascosa. As for the crosstown rival Odessa Broncos, they fell to the Eastwood Troopers in a shootout, on Friday night. That score was 56-49, and the Broncos have accounted for 99 points over their past 2 games. Head coach Eric Hartman is thrilled that his team has a knack for putting up points, but he hopes for a better execution down the stretch of a close ball game.
They're performing well, and so we're executing. That's the thing. Once you're executing on offense, you can roll, and our kids are believing that we can move the ball and go and score, and so that's the exciting part. There was things at the end that I wouldn't say that we particularly did wrong. I just felt like Eastwood did a little better at the end and was able to overcome us.
The Broncos will also be at Ratliff Stadium hosting Lubbock Monterey Thursday night. You can also watch that game on KWWT My 30. All right, Tom, take a look at this. A spectacular display of Aurora Borealis, which is often called the Northern Lights, dazzled observers in Fairbanks, Alaska on September 11th. This stunning footage of the aurora was posted by Wandering Alaska, a company that runs aurora viewing tours. They said the footage was not sped up. High aurora activity was recorded on September 10th and 11th, and according to researchers at the University of Alaska Fairbanks, more high activity is expected over September 16th and 17th. So today and tomorrow.
Some wild stuff, yeah, and they were expecting it to be, the aurora to be all the way down close to Colorado and Missouri tonight.
Wow.
So it was going to be further south tonight because of a geomagnetic storm. We're not going to see too much here, but we are going to see a few more clouds in our forecast, a little bit of breeze, and maybe an isolated shower, thunder shower in the mountain areas. Better chances across the Permian Basin, but just slight chances coming up on Wednesday as that trough of low pressure moves across. And then we'll see a front later this week. We'll have to watch out for it for rain chances and slightly milder temperatures.
just getting closer and closer to fall.
Yeah, we just need
Almost
good
there.
for
Thanks for joining us tonight for First Alert 7 News at 9 on the CW. We've got more news coming up tonight at 10.